Hey everyone, and welcome to Shoot On. The suppressor tax is about to go away, and that means a lot of you are going to be looking to put a suppressor on a gun that you've already got. I have had this barrel probably about 15, 17 years maybe. Came with a Surefire suppressor adapter for the muzzle, and I have never taken it off. I've shot this barrel a lot, and getting ready to do some coyote hunting. Want to put on the new Sandman X from Dead Air, but I've got to get this muzzle device off, and it's stuck pretty good. And this is common, you know, if you are never taking those off, which you don't really need to, but if you have never taken your muzzle device off, you've done a lot of shooting, good possibility that it's corroded, that it's stuck on there good and tight, and it takes a little bit of effort to get it off. And what we're going to do here today is show you how to do that safely without damaging your barrel, and you obviously don't want to do that. So we're going to start with removing the handguard assembly, show you how to make a clamping device out of wood to lock onto that barrel and give you the kind of grip you're going to need to really put the torque on the muzzle device to get it off. There's a few tricks to doing that, and we're going to show you how to do that right now. So we begin by taking off the handguard assembly. Now, if you've never done this before, you might want to check with the handguard manufacturer. These things are all pretty much proprietary as far as their design goes, and they all go on differently, use different types of attaching hardware. So if this is your first rodeo on removing handguard, be sure to check with the manufacturer before you get started. You don't want to damage anything. I will mention a really neat tool that helps when you're using or working on AR uppers, is this lug lock upper receiver vise block from Real Avid. It just slips into the receiver, locks in here, and you can lock it into your bench vise. It's designed to, you know, take up the torque you need, or accept the torque you need to do the muzzle device, getting that on. I'm not a huge fan of putting a whole lot of torque pressure using this on the receiver because it is aluminum, but you know, for doing work like this, good support, and you can also put it on your muzzle device with it. But anyway, it's just a real handy tool, works on a bench vise. It's that third hand you often need. And as you can see, it just kind of comes right off. Locks into the star chamber, just like that. And then you can rotate it and work on the other side. So here's what I was talking about with the wood block. This is used to clamp against the barrel. What you do is, you know, just measure out your barrel width. Hopefully you've got enough room to work with. Measure it out on a caliper, and you're going to just drill a hole through a solid piece of hardwood. This is walnut, I believe. Anyway, drill that hole down through the center. You're going to be undersized from what your barrel diameter is, just by a little bit. But the objective, of course, is to have enough clamp that's going to squeeze against the barrel when you put that in a vise. And you can really, with the wood, it gets a good grip. You can get that thing on there tight, and you're not going to be marring your barrel whenever you're, you know, putting all that torque on. So yeah, strap wrenches never work. They slip too easy. The pipe wrench, of course, would work, but you're going to damage your barrel if you use that. So these wood pieces, that is the best way to go. And so again, you're just going to have to measure your barrel out, find out what the diameter is, drill your hole under that, and then just clamp it on. Works like a charm. So now we put the barrel in the vise block, tighten it up, get it good and tight, compress that wood. Now, one caveat to this: over time, the bore in the wood will compress it will burnish, and eventually you'll have to do a new one. But it's good for quite a few projects. So anyway, we got this in good and tight. Let's see if it's going to hold with the torque here to get this off. It might spin, don't know. And it's going to spin. Try to tighten up some more. And we're still spinning. Okay, so there's that. What's the next solution? It's going to be necessary to start with doing a little bit of croil. We're going to let that soak into some croil for a bit. So since the block itself was not sufficient to let us get this off of here, we'll put some croil on. Croil, it's they call it the oil that creeps. So when you have some really seriously stuck threads, this stuff does a fairly good job. I'm just going to saturate that. Hopefully it'll suck in a little bit of capillary action, get it down into the threads. But I'm just going to put this on and leave it for a while. How long? That's a good question. It just depends on what's required. Don't know until you try, so give that a soak, and I'll probably leave that for several hours, and then maybe reapply a little bit in between, come back, and then see if we get anywhere. Okay, so it has been 3 hours, I think, since we last give this a go. So let's see if the croil did what it needs to do. Not yet. We're still spinning in the wood. And we're still not getting anywhere. That wood's starting to crack, I think. Still spinning. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to let it soak for a couple, 3 more hours, see what happens, and then we'll go to another plan. So before I go to that other plan, I'm going to try something else. I've never tried this before. What I've got here is a powdered rosin, and what we use this for is scope mounting. When you just put a little bit of this on your scope rings on the inside where the scope is going to go, that really is kind of like that tape some manufacturers provide in their rings. Anyway, it really puts a little bit of it, goes a long ways, but it puts a nice grip on here. I'm seeing some shiny stuff where this wood's getting burnished, so maybe a little bit of rosin in this barrel channel might give it enough grip to keep it from slipping. So this is just to make sure that the slippage that I'm having is not due to the tightness of the muzzle device, but instead the slipperiness of the wood. So we'll give this a try and see if that makes a bit of a difference. Okay, got the rosin in. Let's see if this will get us anywhere. No, maybe not. Jeez. Oh, my goodness. That is on there tight. Still slipping. Well, okay. Now we're going to have to go back to the plan, which is we'll put some more croil on here, leave it soak for a couple hours, come back, give it another go. If that doesn't work, one more thing to do. Okay, so it has been 5 hours since we last gave this a shot. That should have been plenty of time for the coil to soak into the joint. So let's rig it back up, see if we can get anywhere with it. This time, I'm starting to have my doubts, however. So we'll see how this goes. Hopefully we'll get a spin, but I just kind of doubt it. Not so far. And it's still not wanting to budge. I don't know how much more pressure that wood's going to be able to take. It just is not going to do it. So, the next step in attempting to get this off is to put the heat to it. So we're going to get a little butane torch on it and heat up this adapter and the joint right here, and see if we can get somewhere with it. Hopefully that'll be it, because after that there's no more tricks up the bag. Okay, we're all snug again, so let's put some maybe we can put some fire to it. Make something happen. Oh, by the way, always make sure you are covered with your safety. Don't anticipate any problems, but it's always a good idea to plan ahead for such things. So we're just gonna put the heat to this. Try to be as even as possible. I need to get me a new system here. I don't really like this one because if I tilt it upside down, flame goes out, so I gotta do a little bit of a twisting around here. But anyway, just try to evenly heat the muzzle device. If you're taking this off, make sure you don't get your wood caught on fire or anything else. Looks like I'm already smoking a little bit. It's probably just some of the coil coming off. I'm going to set my timer. See how long this is going to take before we see some turning. So it's going to take a little while though. It's about a minute. I'm just going to test it just for fun, see where we're at. Oh, there we go. All right, that wasn't as bad as what I thought it was going to be. Hoorah! So we got it. Yeah, whoever put this on did so with a red Loctite. That might have been the manufacturer's instructions. I don't know. But anyway, we've got success. And I am not going to touch that thing till it cools down. So open it up a little bit, and then we'll just let it cool down, and then we'll come back, see what things look like. All right, everything is cooled down. So I'm going to go ahead and take this all the way off. And you can see here the thread locking compound that was put on the muzzle threads. So in preparation, of course, for installing the new suppressor mat, we're going to have to get all of that cleaned up. So I'm going to start with, see how we're looking with a brush. It's just a copper brush, not really destructive. Actually, it's not destructive. This is one from a Real Avid pick set that we're going to be using. Looks like that's going to come off pretty good. Anyway, you want to get get all of that hard adhesive off. Most of it pretty well turns to powder. Just going over it with a brush kind of gets it out of those threads. So then I want to see how hard and deep and crunchy this stuff is. We'll just use a sharp pick, and you can see how some of it is coming up. So there's definitely some stuff in the threads there that we want to get rid of. So I want to work on that for a bit and see if we can't get this thing pretty close to totally clean here. Alright, I think that pretty well gets it for the pick and brush process. So what I'm going to do now is dampen the brush with some hoppies and just putting a little solvent on the threads with the brush. Give it a little extra deeper cleaning. Make sure we've got all the yuckies out of there. And we should be about ready to do a trial fit for the new suppressor mount adapter. So after the solvent application, I like to clean it, get all that off with some denatured alcohol. Just give it a squirt, rub it down, and that'll get all that solvent out, any remaining oils, and dry it up and get it back to as close as new as possible. So since I'm going to be running the Sandman X on my 556 Coyote killer here, I'm going to be putting on the Xeno 3-prong adapter. It's a flash hider, and of course it's also the mount for the Sandman X. So we're going to put that on. This is a 1.5 by 28 thread, which is what most of your AR-15 barrels are. So we'll just see how that's going to go on. Looking pretty good. Looks like I've got those threads cleaned up pretty nicely. Oh yeah, that went on nice and smooth. So that puts a wrap on that project. If you're getting ready to install a suppressor on an older gun like that, you might have an issue with the current flash hider or muzzle device being tight, being stuck. You saw what we went through here to get this one off, and that's not really uncommon for an older gun, especially if someone put a thread locker onto the threads when they install the muzzle device. So you're going to just take your time. I think going through those particular processes that we showed you, starting easy and working more aggressively, is the best way to not damage your equipment. You don't want to put more force or heat if it's not necessary. So start light, get more aggressive until you have to go all the way if you do. Hopefully you won't. Hopefully it'll be a nice, easy process. But anyway, you are going to have to do this if you put a suppressor on an older gun, or have someone's going to have to do it. Not a big deal, again, if you just take your time and follow a very simple routine to get to that goal. So hope you enjoy the suppressor that you are about to get, and it really is a wonderful thing to be able to go to the range and not have to worry about blasting your ears and annoying everybody else, hunt in a little bit more of a quiet environment, and just not contribute to the noise pollution. And most importantly, it saves your ears, and nothing is more important than that. So hope this works out for you. Hope you learned something, and check in next time.